What's up, realtors and homeowners and home buyers? Welcome to the Mortgage Punk Show. I've got Aimee McCaffree with me today, and we've already been having a riot before this show even started. So I don't know where we're going to go, but I was already having fun on the ride.
I was too. I'm excited. We'll see where the ride takes us.
Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited.
We were talking about 80s and 90s trends, and I have to bring this up because I'm such an 80s kid.
Okay.
And you're a 90s kid.
I am.
So you're telling me that you're seeing a resurface of like 90s pop trend, like fashion.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am no longer cool and fashionable because I'm almost in my 40s, but my child who's in high school is very much on trend with all the fashion.
Yep.
And it's just wild walking down the hallways of East High School and seeing the literal exact hairdos, makeup styles, fashion trends that I was wearing in high school
In the 90s.
early 2000s. Yeah, middle school, high school. I graduated 06 from North High, so it's just crazy to see it. And the music is trending from then to...
So that would have been like Britney Spears in Sync era.
I think a lot of their...
Blink 182.
Yeah, like the Blink 182s, the Sum 41s, our R&B, our rap is back. Like I've been
All
listening.
of the
it's
music
back
genres
that they're listening to.
That's so
Which is
crazy.
really cool.
I
like
feel like the 80s just like came back through, I don't know, within the last few years.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that you're telling me you're seeing 90s and 2000s pop trends come back, because it seems like it takes a while,
Yeah.
for a decade to regurgitate itself.
Yeah.
Sort of.
My son is super into fashion and he loves, and it's kind of an interesting trend. I think a lot of high schoolers like it. I know my niece and a lot of his classmates too, but are really into vintage shopping. And so when I think of vintage, I'm like 1950s, but no, I take him to these vintage shops and it's all stuff from my childhood in high school. I'm like, oh man, I wouldn't even have to sell houses anymore if I would have kept my high school wardrobe. That would have been awesome. But yeah.
Well, I thought this would be a great lead in because it has nothing to do with real estate. So if you're tuning into this episode to listen to how you can like crack the real estate code, well, maybe right now go buy some Jinko jeans or
you're gonna be eBaying those. It
yeah.
will cost you just as much as your down payment. So maybe hold off on the Jinko jeans. But yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I wonder when the new boy bands, and I haven't seen a new boy band come out. Have you?
Not really.
I don't think.
No. But
Like
I only
Jonas
have
Brothers would be the closest thing I could think of to be running around there.
I don't know.
That's not even a boy band, really.
I was too cool for boy bands, Chris.
You're
I
a
liked
rocker,
I liked rock
like me.
bands. So yeah, I was cool. I wasn't a Britney Spears in sync
Awesome.
child.
We get along really well already, just because
It's like Smashing
we're
Pumpkins
both punks.
posters. Yeah.
So you know what I've noticed though is I've noticed like a whole resurgence of pop punk music.
Yeah.
And there's some brand new bands out. I'm like, oh my land, it's like throwing us back to 15, 20 years ago.
It is.
Just like that.
I've seen it too in the music trend, and I don't necessarily know any of the newer groups names, but like All American Rejects are back. They're coming out on tour. So I'm super
Older
stoked. Like I can't wait to go.
Avril Lavigne's everywhere.
Like throw my back out at concerts. It'll be real fun. Like no mosh pit for
You can't
mom.
do a mosh pit anymore.
No more. I don't think so.
I
think that has to be off the life list.
I checked to see if there was the Vans Warp Tour is going right now. And so it's like several days of nothing but punk bands.
Yeah.
And so those groups are on that tour. And like I think the closest one was California or something like that. I'm like, I don't have time to go run off and be stupid.
I know. Well,
and have my eardrums blown.
It is the eardrums that will do it for you. I never realized how loud our music was.
In with ear plugs, like all the old people have earbuds in.
And knee braces.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, for the record, I did launch my mortgage punk brand before I saw this whole resurgence of pop punk. Like I just did it because that's me, and part of my history and who I am. Type thing. So, and then now all of a sudden, boom, these old bands come out with new albums, and there's new bands, and so it's pretty crazy.
It is. It's fun.
It's very interesting to watch the past come back again.
It is
weird, isn't it?
It is weird. It is wild. Yeah, it definitely makes you feel old, you know? Like, I wonder if my grandma, when I was dressing up, like, in,
The
like
hippies.
like the hippies or the poodle skirt for Halloween, if they're
Right.
like, "Oh, wow. Oh, I'm really old."
And then, but at least at some point in your life, if you have children, you'll be able to stick it to your kids and say, "See, I
Yeah.
was cool.
Yeah,
Like I know what this whole thing's about."
oh, yeah. It's hilarious because our son Silas is literally wearing some of Steve's, like, and it's the coolest items he owns, like his old Affliction shirts and stuff like that. And we're like, I
That's
mean,
like stuff
glad
you'd
we
get
did
at
it.
the buckle,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Back in the
Back in the
day.
day. That is so crazy.
It
All right.
is. Ed Hardy. It's all back.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Aimee. I want to talk about, I haven't done this in an interview for a minute, so I want
Okay.
to talk about young Aimee. So
Okay.
you graduated from North.
Yep. Graduated from North High in 2006.
So are you from
I'm
Wichita?
from Wichita,
Okay.
born and raised. And then my grandparents had a huge influence on me growing up. I spent a lot of time with them, and they lived in Fall River, Kansas, which
Where's
is
that?
Greenwood County. If you go down 400 straight east,
Okay.
you'll hit it. It's like
How far?
about an hour and a half away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So an hour and a half out of the city.
Yeah.
In the middle of
Small town.
Rural.
Very rural. So I feel like that like very close knit community was a huge part of my life growing up too.
Did you grow up with them? Or
I grew up
they
like
were around
weekends, summers. Yeah, they really helped my mom raising my sister and I.
a lot? Okay.
So yeah, just super interactive in our lives and spent a ton of time there. Growing up there, both north side of Wichita, and then when I was in middle school, moved from Benjamin Hills from the north-ish side, kind of outskirts of Benjamin Hills,
Right.
to Riverside.
Okay.
And I think I really I've just always loved old homes a
Mhm.
lot. I've always
Yeah.
been raised in them. And
Yep.
my grandpa was super handy. He built he didn't build the homes. He would always do renovations. He was a mechanic on every
Right.
home. And
Really
so,
good with his hands.
yeah. And so I've just kind of been raised with that mindset of like always improving your
Interesting.
homes and working
You have
on
a
'em.
younger sister or older sister?
I don't. I have an older sister.
Okay.
I'm the baby.
You guys close?
We're super close. Yeah. So my sister's has a doctorate degree in education.
Okay.
I come from a long line of educators. My
Right.
mom is a teacher. Then went into counseling in the field of education, and my sister has a doctorate in curriculum writing, and she's a
Interesting.
professor at Butler Community College.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
Here, Butler,
Yeah,
here, right?
Butler
Yeah, okay.
here. And I originally went to school to be an educator also.
Yeah, I'd heard something about
Yeah,
that.
before I was in real estate, I always thought that was probably what I would do, is be in education. I always worked in the field of special education, both at Heart Spring and at East High School,
Really?
working the categorical programs.
Outside of this is after high school
Yeah,
for you?
after high school,
Okay.
pretty much all early adulthood and all like very young adulthood, I was in education. And that was
Interesting.
the plan.
Okay.
Until I met my significant other, and he started flipping houses. And he was like, wow, one of us really has to get our license. We're giving realtors a lot of money. And I was like, I'll get mine. I have so much free time,
That's fun.
working in education. So I did.
And this is all in special educate. For you, it was all special
yeah,
ed,
all special
right?
education.
Okay.
And then I substitute taught. I taught kindergarten. I taught pre-K long-term for the school district. And those were all great. But I love kids. I love the field of education, but sometimes I don't necessarily agree with like the curriculum, I would say, in early childhood and in special education. And so it was becoming more and more challenging each year. And yeah, so I kind of started pursuing real estate more. I sold a few houses, and first year, it was about 10 years ago, I got licensed, and I was like, oh, wow, maybe I won't be a
You don't have
teacher
to get
after all.
These
Maybe I'll
paychecks
be
are a little bigger.
realtor. This is, yeah. So it was like, I think my first quarter when I made more than what I would make in an entire year of
Yeah.
teaching, I realized, wow, And it was also very emotionally rewarding. And in a way, I think our community, kind of what we, you and I were discussing on becoming a homeowner in that process, people are very uneducated on it.
Yep.
And so it definitely gave me an opportunity to help the community and educate people that maybe didn't ever think they'd have an opportunity to be a
A
homeowner.
homeowner.
Yeah. And
So it sounds like you're very, like you really like to do good, serve people. I mean, going from special ed,
yeah.
and you're kind of making a connection in real estate in that sense. Were you an occupational therapist then?
No, I
Aimee?
wasn't. I worked as a para educator, so I would basically run students' IEP plans, meaning like a psychologist or occupational therapist had all come up with a very specialized education plan.
Right.
The students I worked with at Heart Spring were pretty dependent on
Right.
their
Aren't they
staff, so
totally?
most of them were nonverbal.
Mhm.
Some pretty extreme behaviors. A lot of them, it was like the littlest moments, like learning to feed themselves or learning to bathe themselves. So these are life skills
Yeah.
they have to learn so that they can go to a facility as an adult and get adult placement. And so really implementing those plans, I mean,
Right.
are very important. So like a little tiny thing that we take very much, for
For
granted,
granted every day.
like just bringing
Like
a fork up to our
picking up
mouth.
and drinking your
Yeah.
water.
That's a huge gain for a student that can't do that prior. So it was very, very emotionally rewarding.
Wow.
I would say I
That's
absolutely
a
loved
labor
it.
of love.
It was a
would
labor
say,
of love.
Aimee.
Yeah.
Your mom? Did you say your mom was in
Mhm,
education?
teacher. Yep.
Okay, so she was a teacher. And then what about your dad?
I have a stepdad who raised me, that's who I call dad. And he was a veteran,
Mhm.
a disabled veteran in the Vietnam War.
Wow.
And his name was Dennis. He's passed away last year. And then my birth father was an artist, but he passed away when I was very young.
Aimee.
So yeah.
Sorry. It makes me sad.
Well, yeah.
Did you know your birth?
No. I mean, yes, I did know him, but he was definitely not
Never
a
in your
big
life.
part of my
Yeah.
life. Yeah. He had a lot of. It's part of why I feel like I'm very passionate about mental health and special education in general. Because that's something that's extremely stigmatized, I would
Mhm.
say, in our society. But I think if it was a little less stigmatized and we put more emphasis on mental health help and helping people get the help that they need, just like we're treating people for any other
Yeah.
physical diagnosis that you would have, my dad probably would have been a pretty productive member of society.
Mm.
Unfortunately, he was paranoid schizophrenic and was never, that was never managed for him.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So that drove you,
I would say,
you think, towards.
I don't think it necessarily drove me towards anything except for like having empathy for others in general
Yeah.
and meeting people where they're at.
Yeah. You're like the you're like maybe the third or fourth realtor I know well and work with that comes out of education.
Yeah.
I don't know what do you think is there a link between
it does.
education and good real estate people?
I
don't
think
know.
so. I think it does. I've been, some of the best realtors I've ever worked with are also past educators. I think it's because a lot of us have similar personality types that can really guide and help our clients. We have a lot of patience.
Right?
Which is
Right.
needed.
Yes.
Definitely.
It's definitely needed.
We are definitely able to diversify our personality and teaching style to be able to educate our clients on the processes. And, you do have to be able to morph to each client,
Mhm.
like,
Right.
both.
But you need patience.
But you do need patience. And I think for the most part, educators are really thorough. And they're good at connecting with their clients. And at the end of the day, the connection that's how you're going to build a very successful
relational.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of patience,
Mhm.
Aimee, have you ever gone, and I know you have, through the process of building a home from the ground up?
I have helped people do that. Yeah. I will say new builds are definitely not my favorite, but I have helped clients build
patience.
from it does build from the ground up. For me, I think where my true passion when it comes to real estate lies is revamping historical
Restoring.
homes,
Yeah.
more of a restoration.
Yeah.
I just think our homes kind of hold our stories,
Hmm. Yeah.
and these are homes that have been proven for over 100
Right.
years to like hold people's stories and lives and their laughter and their sadness and their joys and all these, memories within their walls. And they were just built so well, like
Right.
solid wood,
Yeah. And
and these
bricks
moldings and
everywhere.
brick and
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm a lover of old homes, and my partner Steven, that's what he does is he restores old
Yeah.
homes and makes them just kind of changing layout so that they function as a new home.
So speaking of patience and construction, I want to take a minute to give a shout out to Travis Whistler. He's actually my business partner in another business, but he owns TW Custom Homes. He's a custom home builder in the Wichita market, but he's also a sponsor for the Mortgage Punk Show. So just want to give a shout out to Travis. And listen, if you're looking to build a dream home with precision and style, and if you want quality and customization, Travis is definitely your guy. I know he'll take super good care of you because I know him well. But he can do anything from traditional homes to very modern and contemporary new construction. So anyhow, Travis, thanks for supporting the show. And if you're looking to build a home, call Travis, TW Custom Homes, and tell him I sent you over. So anyhow, all right. So speaking of old homes, so you like old homes, your partner Steven renovates them,
Yeah.
right? And how much inventory do you think is in the Wichita market in terms of older homes that older people are vacating and leaving behind that need to be restored? Like what's that market like? What's the inventory like? Is there a lot of opportunity? Like what do you and Steven see in the market? Does it take you a while to find a deal because there's just not a lot of supply, or is there a bunch and you're just waiting for it to flood the market? I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Tell us
I
about
think we're in a pretty interesting market when it comes to people wanting to purchase older homes versus a new build. So part of what we're seeing is obviously people are living a lot longer. So not only are people living a lot longer in their home, they're not moving out of that family home. So when in the 90s, we had a ton of new builds being built. Well, now we're also running out of land to build, and the cost that comes with building new. It's not necessarily that people, want a historical home. It's more so that the cost to acquire a new build is significantly more than purchasing a home that is already built and in an established neighborhood.
Right.
So,
even with the construction costs you're throwing into them, are you doing quite a bit in
oh
renovations?
yes, so
significant.
I would say every house flipper definitely has a different mentality. I wouldn't call what Steve does as a flip. Just because it's really almost more like a new build process where it's a lot of times he does do it for clients where it's custom built for them.
Right.
Like changing an entire layout. End. Yeah, it's on the luxury end. So I say no, I don't think we're going to have a huge influx of these properties that people are necessarily moving out of just because, it's a finite asset. So there's just only so many
what
that
about
are
lower
built.
Price? Do you think there's more inventory to be had in the lower price ranges in terms of older homes and restoring some of those neighborhoods?
I would just say it's probably not an acquisition for a mid-range client necessarily, just because you are going to have some renovation costs. If they're trying to make it like a brand new build plus an older established neighborhood, you're going to have some give and take on that. When it comes to budget, or you're going to have to be a client that is on the higher end of that budget. Lower priced, I would say it depends on what you consider like an older home. If we're talking about
Delano,
a 19,
maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Midtown
there's some in Delano, more
stuff.
in Midtown. I would say if you're going areas like College Hill, Crown Heights, those are a little higher, going to be a higher price range. But for sure, Delano.
But do you think there's more opportunity there in that lower
yeah,
price range?
in Delano
or
for sure.
The same. and just different dollars?
For an investor or for a client to own a home?
Client to own a home. An investor
Probably more so for
renovate.
Delano.
Okay.
And for an investor, yeah, there's going to be more of a spread because the acquisition cost is going to be significantly less in Delano.
Right.
The issue that we run into with these old homes is they can be a can of worms, So
Right.
once you open a wall,
Yeah.
you might be doing electrical, you might be doing plumbing, you might be doing HVAC. Normally, you are doing all of those if you're restoring. And we like to talk about, the pretty courts and the beautiful layout because that's what sells homes. But the important things are what's behind the walls. And that's also the really costly things
not
to
so
remedy.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Look at those wires.
Ooh, love
They're
them.
amazing. The blue, red.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's funny.
Gotta love that manifold system. You
Right.
walk in and it's plumbed beautifully. It's always nice.
Well, it's like one of the things that I love about, so I work with a lot of home flippers.
Yeah.
We have a small hard money fund.
Okay.
And I do a lot of long-term financing for when they convert them to rental properties.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate how the house flippers that do good work and take care of these homes are at least bringing the value of some of these neighborhoods back up instead of seeing them just fall completely to pieces.
For sure. I think
in value.
I agree with that. I would so much rather see a home be rebuilt and be able to be utilized, especially in the middle of a housing crisis. Sometimes at times I will say I think flippers do make it so that it's higher for the average consumer to purchase a home. Yeah, afford because
Meaning they do more work. They put too much into it? Or?
No, I'm just saying a lot of families in the midst of a housing crisis could probably be able to afford a $180,000, $200,000 home, but a lot of times those homes never even hit the market because flippers or investors buy them up
and
prior to
rentals.
and then turn it into either a rental and or flip it for profit, right? So then instead of it being a home on the market for 180, which maybe
now it's
a lot of family now it's 225, 250, 275, maybe not as many families can afford that.
That's
but
an interesting point.
It might have been a situation where the home wouldn't have even qualified for lending with its current state too. Yeah. So it has its pros and cons. For me, I think the average flipper is doing trying to do a good job creating sustainable homes for people.
Yeah.
Now when it comes into, some of these huge companies, hedge funds that are buying up individual housing. I mean, that's really where our housing crisis is coming from.
Yeah.
That's a different story for a different day.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with that dilemma, but because I'd rather see homeowners first and foremost be able to buy their own homes. And if somebody's going to invest in it and be an investor, it's nice to see local people who, or even homeowners and working class people that can diversify their portfolio away from just the stock market or 401k or whatever, and maybe own one or two rentals. I'd rather see them own it than some BlackRock fund.
I completely agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has changed the pricing of the average home as well when nationally you're competing with.
And their cash.
Yeah, cash. It's like at the end of the day, the seller wants to make the most money. So they're going to select that offer that is the less headache, which would be no contingencies versus, your traditional buyer.
Yeah.
And it's
I agree with you.
It's definitely a big, it's definitely a huge issue that's not quite at Kansas yet, I wouldn't say, but it's probably headed everywhere.
Jeez. Well, since you and Steve flip homes, high-end luxury homes, I'm sure you've put a handful of roofs on some of these houses.
I have.
So another sponsor for our show, which I think is Daniel Keeley from Keeley Roofing. Sounds like you've used him.
I have
put a few roofs on.
I have used Daniel. He's great, super honest, ethical guy. Every time someone's on Facebook like, "Hey, I need a roof," especially after this last hailstorm. is like my first tag, and that
Yeah.
just give him a call. Great.
Yeah, he's awesome. I work a lot with Hunter because he owns the company, runs it, so he's got a sales force out there.
Mhm.
And so Hunter Gibson is the guy you need to call if you want to utilize Keeley Roofing. So if you've had hail nail your house recently, or if you want to just get a roof inspection and find out what the quality of your roof is or what the life of your roof is, call Keeley Roofing. Tell them that Chris from the Mortgage Punk Show sent you. Ask for Hunter, and they will totally hook you up because they're rock stars. So I have 2 criteria to be on the Mortgage Punk Show, Aimee.
Okay.
If you're a realtor, you have to be a rock star, and if you're one of the sponsors, you better be a freaking rock star, or I'm not promoting you. So
Very good.
that's it. Only rock star class or no go. But Daniel's awesome. He runs a really good company.
He does.
And they're fast. They're honest. They're reasonable, affordable. So yeah. Definitely give him a call. Okay, so back to your story, Aimee. So, all right, so grew up in a small town.
Well, grew up in
sort
Wichita,
North Wichita,
kind
but
of.
went to your grandparents a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What influenced? It was your grandfather. You said that influenced you the most in that grandparent relationship.
Yeah. I mean, both of my grandparents probably had equal influence on me and my mom too, I would say.
But he did when it come to housing.
Yeah, housing, just taking care of things, like, building. It's very funny. He had a saying that I don't even, it has a cuss word in it, but it was like, if you're going to do something, don't do it half-assed. So, and
so he was a quality guy.
Yes, and it's kind of funny because I'm like, I basically married my grandpa. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're gonna do something, so
he did have a big influence on you.
Yeah, perfectionism is what we strive for.
Well, it's a good thing that you guys are in luxury housing space then, because you have the room to do that.
Yeah. Yes.
And go over the top with details like that.
For sure. I would say Steve's great quality is really layout, like building a really, really taking a home and creating it, just making it very livable. And yeah, more modern.
Do you just focus your energy on the marketing, or do you get involved with the renovations, design?
We try to keep those very separate because they are 2 very separate entities. He has his business, and then my business is definitely being the realtor. There have been times when, I've had to take off my realtor hat and put on my, fiance hat, whatever, and go and, help with design decisions. And I do help with that. But for the most part, he is the one that's doing that.
He's driving the renovation project all the way from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years ago, right? That's when you got licensed as a realtor. You came out of education. Now tell me about your family. You have kids or no kids?
I have a kid. Okay. Yes. I have a child.
Yeah. The 90s kid.
Yeah.
Reliving the 90s.
Yes. My reliving. He is a sophomore at East High School.
Okay.
Yeah, he is super cool kid. I'm so lucky. I don't know how he turned out so good, but he did. I'm really, really lucky that I have him. So awesome student at East High School, super actually into photography. So I know more about cameras now than I ever hoped to necessarily know. Yeah.
What's he want to do with that?
He really wants to be a psychologist is what he has been his goal for like the past like 10 years of his life. He's like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a psychologist. And I'm like, okay. But he got super into photography. There's a great photography teacher at East High. Miss Haas is her name. Mm-hmm. And Silas is not super athletic. And so he's never necessarily been involved in things like that. He's he's an artist type kid. So he joined the yearbook class and just fell in love with the art of photography. And he's really phenomenal at it. It's pretty cool to watch his artwork. And
do you think he'll take a turn in that direction, or do you think he'll follow mental health?
I think he'll probably do both. I think photography may be something that helps him get into school and maybe get scholarships. Mm-hmm. And then he's already done several competitions, so where he's done well, and he is at every single event. If there is an event at East High School, he is there
shooting pictures,
photographing. Right, huh? Yeah, it's wild. Every football game, every basketball game, golf,
awesome.
Debate tournaments, everything.
He's there. You have him do any photography with your homes? Listings?
he needs a different lens
Okay.
to be able to do that.
Okay.
And so I don't know. I have such a great photographer. So and I'm pretty partial to that. I'm very partial to my marketing for homes.
You already have it set.
So yeah, we'll see. I might trust him on one. But he's definitely more of a portrait. Like he does beautiful portraits. So
Okay.
yeah.
No kidding. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll show you some of his
Yes,
photos
I'd love
that he's
to see
done.
it.
Yeah,
I'd love to see
McCaffree Media. Look him up. Go like his Instagram. That's
what
very
it is?
important. Very important to the young kids.
You're a great mom, Aimee. Love it. Okay, so what was the main turning point between real estate and education? Was it just Steve coming into your life? Was that
it really
drove it all?
It really was. So I did not meet Steve in real estate. I think that's kind of a misnomer about our relationship that people think. So I met Steve while I was in college. He owned a bar and I was a bartender. And
Here in town?
Yeah, here in town. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it still around?
No, it's not around anymore. He sold it. Yeah. And so he was kind of in flux trying to decide what, he was really passionate about after he sold the bar. And he had always been on the financial side of real estate investment. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In general, like more commercial than residential.
Homes or doing anything with real estate?
He had
while owning
previously.
The bar? Okay.
And before that, he operated a financial firm that did lending for different projects all over the United States.
Oh,
so
I know. Okay, so I think I told you this before the show when we talked last night. I met him at an event, but it's been probably maybe 6 years ago, if I had to guess.
Yeah, probably.
And I remember, now that you're telling me this, my conversation is starting to come back literally while we're on this show. Like click, 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 click. And it was out of state, right?
Dallas.
And he was
Miami.
out managing all these foreclosures, right? That
during 2008. Yeah.
Yeah. And he had to run all over the country, I think,
Yeah.
trying to deal with this mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Him and I have some similar stories.
Yeah,
because we have similar stories. A little different, but I've got a hard money fund, and I've been in that space since 2016, and I've had some war stories.
I can imagine.
With hard money.
I can imagine. And I obviously, I was not in real estate in 2008,
right.
but it definitely had a pretty devastating impact on our financial institutions and in general our home ownership. So anyways, so I met him. We kind of fell in love. We did fall in love.
14 years ago,
yeah,
right?
14 years ago, which is crazy.
That's been a minute.
Yeah, been a long minute. And I was in education, thought I was getting ready to graduate to teach. I was teaching kindergarten with a long-term sub-status at Minnehaha. I did really love it, but kind of during that process, Steve flipped a house. He was thinking, he'd always wanted to design one. So he had flipped houses before, but way before I ever knew him, if that makes sense, before Dallas and Miami and owning the bar. So he flipped a few houses, was very successful with it, did it in College Hill, and he's very good at, like I said, the layout, kind of recreating these historical homes and really building just dream homes for people. And he did 2 or 3 houses, and like I told you, he was like, we're giving realtors so much money. He's like, guys,
especially at those price points.
Yes.
The realtor commission is a little higher.
Yes. And so I said, well, I'll just get my real estate license, and I can just do it in the summers and teach in the school year.
So you're just trying to help him.
Yeah. This is what I thought. I thought I was going to help him.
Career.
Yeah. And then we wouldn't have to give realtors commissions anymore. We keep it in house. Sounded like a pretty good deal. And then I think I listed his first house a few weeks after I got my license. And then they bought a house at auction. So my first client was luckily very forgiving. I lived with him. And really, when you very first start, you don't know, what you're doing.
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. It's not like there's, real estate school. They teach you to take a test.
Did you hang your license with?
I originally hung it with Keller Williams, Signature Partners.
Signature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think they have a really good training program. They did, at least then I felt like they had a really good training program.
Well, it was a thing.
Yeah.
It was a hot trend.
It was
hitting the real estate scene, I think.
I think it was too. They had like you had to go through these basically like in-person training, school and give like a part of your commission for that. And after so many. Anyway, so I started hosting open houses and listing those homes. And I realized like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this, like maybe I should put a little more, like maybe I should actually do this full time. And so I've always kept my substitute license. And I've subbed every now and then just so I can be involved in the school districts. But it just kind of took off and I became very busy selling homes.
Did you finally, what was the point of what created the point of no return, I guess? Like, okay, I'm leaving it. I'm done with education, pursuing real estate full time. What made that?
I think it was probably like my second year in real estate. I did decide to join a team for a short stint. And I'm really glad I did that actually, because I think I was very good at my job as a realtor, but I didn't know that. I definitely lacked like the confidence because I kind of felt like it can't be this easy. Like, this is what we do. Probably shouldn't say that.
What realtor team? Can you mention?
I was with Sonia Seidel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and she really just boosted my confidence. She was like, "You're great at this. You do know what you're doing. You have this. Like you got it." And I was like, okay. So, just teaching me how to, market homes and how to, talk to clients and retain clients. And, so that really built my confidence that year. I think I closed like 12 or 13 houses and, for a starting out agent, that's great.
Well, yeah. At what price point?
Most of them were like in the threes.
That's still
threes
good.
And fours. Yeah.
12 houses in the 300,000 to 400,000 range is the same as 24 houses at 200.
Yeah. And so I kind of was like, I probably should do this instead. So the team, like I can put my kid through college. That would be great at some point,
So the team boosted your confidence.
Yeah.
Gave you a little bit more training on the business and marketing and sales aspects, right?
Yes.
And that confidence level shot up high enough where you were like, okay, I can make a living at this.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's where
and I don't know if I thought that it would be something that was necessarily sustainable, if that makes sense. Because I really did plan to not enter this pretty competitive career, right? I mean, it is competitive. Every realtor you work with, you're co-oping with them, but, and in the homes that I typically list, there are several realtors typically being interviewed. So it is a bit of a competition to get the listings. I prefer listings over buyers, though I help both. And a lot of times the listing leads to a buyer too,
Yeah. Well, would you say, I'm pretty sure on all of your listings, you probably recommend the seller do a home inspection, I would assume. Right?
I do. Yeah. You should definitely do a home inspection, especially if you're buying a home. Don't ever buy a home
especially
and
if
not
you're
do.
buying one.
Yeah.
So I got to take a minute to thank another sponsor here for the show, and that's Jason Hancock. I think you know him.
I do.
With Pillar to Post. He's a rock star inspector. I've heard nothing but good things about him always. He does a really good job. You said he's very thorough. You've had him on some inspections, right?
I have had him on some inspections. Yeah, he is very thorough. He's great.
So big props to Jason at Pillar to Post, the inspection pro who keeps it real before you buy. So if you're going to buy a house, you definitely need a home inspection. And if you want a good one that we promote, that we know will take super good care of you, call Jason Hancock at Pillar to Post and tell him Chris from the Mortgage Punk Show sent you his way. So, okay. So now you're into your career. You have confidence. You you really know how to run the real estate business, right?
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that's happened in 10 years in real estate? like make you sick, throw up at night type experience?
My worst one?
Do you have one?
Oh gosh. I actually am kind of known for having like the craziest real estate stories ever. I'm not kidding.
Which one gave you the greatest amount of anxiety and maybe even put you into, or have you had one put you into a dark
I have. I
spiral?
mean, yeah, I'm never a dark spiral because I'm very good at like rebounding, if that makes sense. And I'm always very solution oriented.
Or like,
so
like
if
really
my
make you want to leave the industry, like blow your confidence,
Mm,
push you. Have you had anything push you to those limits?
I've never had anything that has pushed me to the point where it's like, I want to leave this
Despair.
industry. Yeah, no, never despair. I've definitely had some challenging clients, but a lot of times those challenges are more so, where it's like just things going on in their lives where it's like, oh my gosh, how do we help them out of this? Like so often you're not just a realtor.
Something out
Like
of
you're
your
like,
control.
yeah, it's
Right.
like you might be their therapist, their best friend that they're talking to. They're talking to you multiple times a day. And it is a very vulnerable situation for people, like, everything about their financials and their
Right.
relationship and maybe why they're moving or why they can't sustain this home or why they
Right.
can. And so I'm definitely very above and beyond to client. So, I or client realtor for my clients. And so just so often I'm there more so than as their realtor. But the worst time I'd say I ever had was probably in 2018 when we were just having all of the flooding in Wichita. I think there was historic rains.
Yeah.
It was like 100-year rain.
Right.
And I had like 4 transactions all going on and every single one of them flooded. Yeah. So that was really hard.
Did you lose a deal?
I didn't end up losing a deal.
None.
No, people
Kept it
all
all
ended
together.
up keeping it together. I mean,
Wow.
it was a lot of collaboration.
You know what's crazy, Amy? Well, never mind. It wasn't due to rain. But I know what year you're talking about though.
Mm-hmm.
What about a dark night? Have you ever had a dark night of the soul in your life?
Yes, I have had some of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as realtors, like as a realtor, we just give so much of ourselves a lot of the time, And so there have been times when things were like problematic with clients, and you feel so bad for them. But the whole time when you are helping someone with their most important financial thing that they're ever probably going to be doing, which is selling or buying real estate for the average person, that is the most financially significant, impactful thing they can ever do. But that doesn't mean your life stops.
Right.
Right? Like you're still
Right.
mom, you're still wife,
Yeah.
you still have like your financial decisions that
Mhm.
you're doing too. And so a lot of times just being like pulled very, in every single direction. And it's like there's not always enough pieces to be left at the end of the day for
Everyone
yourself.
else.
You know what I mean? Because you've
Yeah.
given it. We tend to purchase homes that take a tremendous amount of work to flip. A year and a half ago, we purchased a home in Oklahoma, and we did not realize it because it hadn't been disclosed on anything. It had actually been hidden, but the whole home flooded. And we walked in like a day after closing to like mid-calf high water in the whole home. Ended up having a drywall company. We had so our budget just increased.
Right.
Like
Significantly.
We were like gonna paint and call it a day. No. So
Wow.
yeah, that was really hard. Just being like out of state, handling that,
Right.
handling, all the other transactions that I had going on at the time. And
That
kid
was a
stuff.
Tough one.
It was really tough. That
What
was
got
really
you,
tough.
What did you do to get through it?
I lean a lot on Steve, I would say. We're really supportive of one another. I have a super supportive family, so I'm so lucky for that. Like at the end of the day, I have like an incredible relationship with the people in my family. I have incredible friends. And so it's like the
You have
people in my life.
A tight community.
It's like, and at the end of the day, it's just things.
Yeah.
Things can be fixed.
things can, yeah.
Things can always be fixed.
So you have a little bit of a mindset
yeah.
approach,
For
right?
Sure.
Most things can be fixed.
Yeah.
Especially if it's real estate.
Pretty
right?
much all things can be fixed,
You could always tear the whole house to the ground.
You could. We considered it.
build
There was
another
a
one.
time that we were like, we are just burning this to the ground. Are you kidding me? Where's the bulldozer? But no, it's done
might have made
now
more money.
and it hasn't.
You could have cashed out your
Oh,
insurance
right.
policy.
Oh, come on, Chris. We're going to talk about that on a podcast. No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. No, it is challenging for it to be your property that
Yep.
you physically own.
Because you're on the hook.
Yeah, instead of
For
it
it.
being, a repair request or something for someone else. And I felt pretty silly that I had kind of, I got duped in a way by those buyer or the sellers. Because I'm a real estate professional and I mean, we should have, I guess, known, but it was hidden. And so there's like that consumer fraud thing. I was like, oh man, I would have still bought the house had it flooded. I just would have increased my renovation budget had I known that it flooded.
To plan for it. Yep.
So don't lie on your PCR, people. It's very important. So, don't do that.
Be honest.
Be honest. Honest and ethical. Good things to live by.
Are you selling more homes today than you did your first year? Like, what does your growth trajectory look like over 10 years?
I always hate questions like that because I'm so,
asking
I know. People are like, what's
Putting
your
you on the
GCI?
spot.
I'm like, I don't know. I honestly don't. I've never, ever been a person that like looks at numbers and is like, this is a successful
Steve
year.
does that,
This isn't a
right?
successful year.
More?
Yeah, maybe more. I'm so much more of a mindset of like, how many people did I help this year? Like, how many friends did I add to people I know or people I positively influenced their life this year, right? And what experiences did I get to provide for my family this year?
Are
But
you
I
helping
certainly
more families today than you did
Oh yeah.
10 years ago?
I would say I am. I've been pretty lucky for the most part that even when real estate has ebbed and flowed, I've always stayed fairly lucrative and been able to like maintain my clientele. I think a lot of that is because it is very relationship based.
Mm-hmm.
I've never purchased leads off of Zillow or Realtor.com ever. I've never used any of those services.
Just your sphere.
It's literally just my sphere, just friends, meeting people, open houses, clients referring me. So there's always been like this very innate trust built with all of my clients. And so I remember like house to house to house to house. I don't even necessarily remember. I mean, I do know what homes sold for and what I'm selling.
Right.
And
But you're thinking of the family or
Yeah.
the individual
yeah.
or in terms of a transaction.
Yeah. For me,
More
it's
than
like,
the numbers.
yeah, this year it's like, oh, last year I helped like, 4 new people
families.
get to move to Wichita and become homeowners that never would have thought they could be homeowners where they were living because prices were just like priced out for them. Right.
Yep.
And then they were able to move to Wichita and become, own a home. Or help people sell their home in Wichita that they raised their family in and are moving to go be with grandchildren, things like that. So I remember the stories.
Those
More so.
Is your network bigger today than it was 10 years ago?
Yes, it definitely is because that's how it grows. And that's what I kind of tell like other realtors that will get their license and start. It seems very daunting at first,
Mhm.
I think, building that clientele and that sphere. But I never turn down a client. I'll say that. I don't necessarily work in a realm of some of the more like lower priced homes. It's like not my expertise, but this month I'm closing on a condo that's like a smaller condo, and I'm also closing on a $730,000 home. So I work with all different realms of clients, but that client that's purchasing the condo, like that was a referral from another client who was a referral from another client who was a referral from another client.
Right.
Like everyone has a cousin, brother, aunt, uncle, friend that if you do a good job and they can trust you and that you are looking out for them at the end of the day and forming those relationships with people and being honest and ethical and a true professional and knowing your stuff. Like you'll be fine in this business.
So you're at the end of the day, I love your business model, by the way, because I'm a big believer in relationship-based, sphere-based business, especially for realtors. I look at the numbers
Yeah.
a lot. Like, and I'm telling you, I've seen the numbers between a realtor that does paid online leads and the realtors that focus on growing a sphere and a network. And the sphere of the network, by a long shot, beats. Not that you necessarily have to throw out the other option if you don't want to. If you're a realtor that wants to pay for that and utilize that stream of business, that's great. But the sphere far outweighs, in terms of profitability, clients you really want to work with, and that sort of thing. So tell me one more time, how did you grow? You said you grew your sphere by open houses, doing open houses.
Open houses, just different clients that I've had referring me to other clients.
Past clients.
Yeah, past
so
clients.
Your past clients are referring you business. You mentioned open houses.
Yep.
But what were you mentioned one or two other ways.
So funny, like social media, I'm not a huge fan of it. It feels very braggadocious to me. So I very much struggle with that portion of real estate. It's probably the part of real estate that I'm worst at is like self-promoting, just like, gross. It feels gross. But I have gotten leads from people that have like seen a TikTok or seen a Facebook post, and then they'll contact me.
So social media.
Social media.
So we got open houses, we got past client referrals, social media.
I am heavily involved in my neighborhood and in my community, which I think is extremely important in general to just be like, a good citizen, like to be involved at every level of community. So whether that's, volunteering in our public schools, which, I was a public school educator, so huge advocate for public schools, supporting those public schools, supporting those educators, both whether that's, buying stuff from your neighborhood kids and fundraising and or contacting the schools and helping with classroom supplies when you can give, being present in those buildings, helping out. And I go to our district advisory board meetings. I know who's running. So yes, it gives you networking opportunities,
and get referrals.
Yeah, neighbors. Right. I mean, the closing I had this morning is 3 houses down from mine. It's my neighbor. And College Hill in Wichita is a really unique neighborhood. I'm really lucky to live there. And it is a totally different home to sell and to buy because they're historical properties. And I feel like because I live there and I'm so immersed in every element of the community, both the schools, the local businesses, being a local business owner, operator, owning residential and commercial buildings in the area. I sell a lot of homes there. And I think it's just because I'm very immersed in my community. I care about it, care about my neighbors. I love those people. So
those are, I hope everybody wrote that down that's watching this podcast episode. There's 5 ways right there. Community. Well, I think 4 to 5. Let's go back through them one more time. So you said open houses, past client or current client referrals, social media, community, right? Which would be connected to networking. So there's 4. Anything else we're missing? Because I think that's super valuable, especially for a lot of agents watch this. Aimee. And a lot of newer agents will watch it and get a lot of encouragement because they're trying to learn how to build their businesses. And I think it's important for them to know that building a sphere and building those relationships are the number one ultimate way to become a successful realtor. If that's your career path.
I totally agree with that. I'll add one more. So we actually have 5, and I'll say that's not necessarily getting the client. But once you have the client and you're in the midst of a transaction, is being a pleasant person to co-op with. Because our name is worth everything in this industry.
With other realtors?
With other realtors.
Okay.
Yeah, with other realtors, with inspectors, with lenders, like knowing we're all professionals, respecting people, being collaborative, working towards an end
So
goal.
having an
yes.
A+ team, broader team around you.
Yes.
Right.
For sure. And in general, just being like a cool realtor to work with.
Yeah.
You know, that people get along with, not
Well,
trying to make it. That's
you're
right.
totally
but
cool. Anybody who's a 90s kid.
I will tell you, there have been times, especially when we were in very, very competitive markets, when there were times that I would submit an offer for clients and another realtor would be like, you know, we chose your offer because I know you're easy to work with.
Right.
And I know if you say they're approved, they're actually approved.
Right.
Inspections are going to go, easy. You're not going to write these insane repair requests. You're going to educate your client on this process. They're not going to be wishy-washy because I vet my clients too, like we're in it together and there's two sides to every transaction. So I really try to honor that. That's
you gotta be
so
a rock
important.
Star.
It's so important
and you gotta work
for
with
new
rock
for new
stars,
clients
right?
or to new realtors to know that. Like you're gonna work with these people again. It's not a war. It's a collaboration, not a transaction.
So let me mention one more rock star going out the door here, Aimee, before we wrap up. I got to do a shout out to Michael Gom. I don't think you know him. He's with Glass Gurus of Wichita. So if you've got glass or windows, mirrors, you name it, Mike is the man that will make you crystal clear. Okay. That's my little ChatGPT slogan for
good job, ChatGPT.
Cool glass. But Mike owns, him and his wife own the Glass Gurus of Wichita. They're fantastic. They'll repair a piece of glass rather than making you repair or replace the whole window. So it can be very cost effective. So if you've got glass problems in your house, call Mike at the Glass Gurus of Wichita and tell him I sent you, and tell him I told you to tell him I said that he has to hook you up. So anyhow, I don't know what with, but just tell him you heard it on the podcast.
I think with glass.
So with some glass and at an affordable price. So anyhow, thanks, Mike. Appreciate you supporting the show. Aimee, it's been super fun getting to know you, getting to know about your career. I love your approach to relationship-based sales. I think that's the most, that's just the way that you need to do business.
Yeah.
But I also like your take on and your focus on helping people and families, because I think that's also a big part of it, right? Because people can tell if all you want is a commission check.
Yeah.
That kind of comes across if that's what you're
definitely does.
in it for. It is not a good business model.
It is not.
Mess things up for you.
Do not have that business model. I mean, you can, but it will probably not test.
Won't take you where you want to go.
Yeah. The tails of time.
Yeah. You help people, serve people, do a good job, be honest, be transparent.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Star. Yeah.
And a punk rock music fan.
That's right.
Me and Aimee.
That's right.
So.
You can be cool like us. You too can like punk rock music.
What's one thing you would say to the listeners watching this episode? I don't know, some maybe Aimee's golden philosophy of wisdom, words of wisdom. I don't know, something like that.
Some words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, one, I would say, if it's just life in general, be kind to people. If you like someone's shirt, tell them you like someone's shirt. So often we do not talk to people in our community. We're really missing that. So I think in general, be kind. I make it a point to talk to people every single place I go. In general, people are lonely.
Yeah.
And we all just need a little more connection from our community and our neighbors.
So I'm
the chit chat to the person in the grocery store line.
Okay. So your kindness is more closely connected to human connection.
For sure.
So be more humanly connected.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Through kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
I love it.
I agree.
I think you should do that when you're selling houses.
You should. And you never know. It probably will lead to a client. I have gotten clients from a grocery store line before.
That's awesome.
Talking. Yeah.
I love it.
Just saying, yeah.
So there's your sixth
right.
pillar. Open network, social networking.
Yeah.
With anyone.
That's
and
right.
all people. Aimee, thanks for being on the show today. I had so much fun getting to know you more. And I will not send you a Backstreet Boys tape
okay,
set I will be looking for something in the rock genre. That'll make me very excited. Record players are back.
I have one.
This now?
Yeah, my kid has one because I told you they're back.
So now all these vinyls are coming out. It's so
pretty
crazy.
Cool.
Nothing is new.
Nothing's new.
Amy?
No.
Nothing.
No, except for ChatGPT. That's pretty new.
ChatGPT.
That's pretty new.
I don't know. I mean, like, think of a movie, Back to the Future.
They're all the
bet it
same
had
movie.
it in it.
It's like over and over. Oh, I guess it did, didn't it? Yeah.
I'm sure. The Jetsons.
Yeah.
Probably had a version of ChatGPT embedded in it somewhere.
None of us are living an original experience, Chris. It's okay.
It's a computer program.
It is.
Right?
Oh, no. That's a different podcast for a different day.
Podcast. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Aimee, thank you for serving our community so well. Doing a great job as a realtor and being on the show. Thank you for everyone that's watching today. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mortgage Punk Show. Tune in for another great episode soon. Peace out. See you later. Bye.